So yeah, but then projects are a bit different. They're not repetitive. So now we're going to do this definition. This definition actually comes from the Pillbox, that book, the book I showed you a picture of. This book right here. This is the standard for project management. So this is where this definition comes from. This definition you need to memorize for the test. And you almost have to write it this way. A question on the test is define a project as discussed in class. So I'm looking for this definition. Okay? So a project is these things. So these boxes here, we're going to start opening them and we're going to start talking about them. And the whole course actually is these boxes. Okay? So a project is a complex, non-routine, I haven't done it before, one-time effort, meaning that it has a beginning and end, and it's limited by some things. So again, anytime you guys do a project, let's say you want to buy a car, what are you limited by? Money is number one, and then time, and then yeah, I have to plan, I have to see what resources I have, right? So time, budget, resources, and then what else are you looking for in a car? The car itself. Huh?
Safety.
So you're looking for something that has a specific performance, right? So if you're looking for safety, sound, if it can go on 2 wheels, right? Go on 1 wheel. I don't know if you guys used to watch Knight Rider or no? You guys look young. Remember Knight Rider? It had turbo boost. Long time ago, 1950s. But then I do all this to meet what? To meet customer needs or some sort of expectation. Okay, so I'm looking for some sort of an expectation from the project. The project is not just done for fun. Okay, so there's implications from this definition, and this is the implication. So a project has a major objective. So from this definition, we can come up with this. It has a established objective. It has a beginning and end. It requires teams to do it. Usually, a project is not done by one person. It's something new, so this is something that you don't have experience with, and it involves these constraints, and we'll look at these constraints in more detail. Just as an aside, so throughout history, people used to learn things through something called a verbal mind map. You guys know what a mind map is? Those drawings of like a process or something. Back in the day, people used to do a lot of what's something called verbal mind maps. Verbal mind maps are these definitions. And this is worldwide. So, for example, in Europe, one of the most famous memorizations were Shakespeare. People used to memorize Shakespeare. From Arab, even before Islam, the Arabs used to have a lot of poetry, and they used to call this Matn. It's a Matn. Okay, Matn is something very strong for the Arabs. You guys know what it means. And so you memorize the Matn. So this is called the Matn, and this is called the Hashia. I don't know if you guys heard this language. So this explains this. So you memorize this, and then you unpack this by explaining the implications. And of course, for the Muslims, one of the biggest use of this is in the Quran. The Quran, you memorize the ayah, and then you can speak about every piece of the ayah. Right? And this is how people used to learn. For example, I started learning my Arabic when I was 19 in university, and funnily enough, my teacher was Pakistani, and I didn't know he was Pakistani until I heard him speak to someone. I'm like, "You also know Urdu?" He was, "No, that's my mother." I was like, "Oh." The guy could speak very Fusha Arabic. So anyway, so I learned Arabic. I don't know how you guys learned it, maybe in schools and stuff. I learned it from a book called Ajrumiya. I don't know, have you guys heard of the Ajrumiya before? It's like, basically it's 100 pages, and it has a poem, and the poem is 4 pages. And the poem, if you memorize the poem, you understand all the Arabic grammar. So I had to memorize it. So like the first, I'm not going to say all of it because there's some things I forgot. But the first 2 lines For example, I had to memorize, it's called Al-Kalam هو اللفظ المفيد المركب بالوضع. So I had to memorize that. And now, that's all I know. But now I can unpack it and I can speak about this. I can tell you what mufid is, what murakkab is, what wada means. I can talk about this and I can expand on it. This expansion is called hashia. The next line is وَأَقْسَامُهُ ثَلَاث. In Arabic, what's the three forms of words? All words are what in Arabic? Come on, Arabs.
أفعال وأسماء
اسم وفعل وحرف جاء لمعنى. So this is what I have to memorize. So you memorize the same thing, but you did it in a different way. So this was called the Matn, and this is the hashia. And so this is how people used to learn. And again, if you guys want to do an interesting experiment, the Quran, of course, is the mother of all matns. So if you go type on YouTube, type for example the ba in Bismillah. There's a 3 or 4 hour lecture on what the ba in Bismillah stands for. Where you're just like, oh my God, this is just one letter. We haven't even gone into the words yet. And again, that's why the book is an ocean, right?